everybody, Invisiblekatana here. Today I would like to discuss my memories with the PlayStation 2. It is the best-selling console on Earth. If the Switch comes close, they'll find another 20 million units. If you don't get that joke, that's totally fine. But a classic console. A console that has probably introduced people to some of their favorite franchises, if not at least like maybe even their favorite game within said franchise. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are like, obviously with the GameCube we had RE4, and then they also put it out with new content on the PS2, so I'm sure a lot of people are like, hey, PS2. It's technically the worst version, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know that. Some of the cutscenes are pre-rendered, so if you choose costumes, alternate costumes and stuff, they don't show up in cutscenes on the PS2 version, but they do in the GameCube version. I did not know that for a super long time, and of course as a kid, I wasn't paying attention to like any of that stuff, but just wanted to randomly throw that out there. Fun fact for Resident Evil 4 on the PS2. But we're going to start from the beginning. The day I got my PlayStation 2. I would assume that it was actually the year it came out because I got it on Christmas, so I'm pretty certain that it was the year it came out. And I remember the little walk down the hallway, because at the time my older cousin lived with us. And he was like, hey, come here. I was like, okay, so I walked with him to his room. And then he pops the door open, and I look down, and there's just this beautiful bluish, purplish box, mostly blue, but then there's that little hue of purple in there. And I thought, holy crap, the PlayStation 2. And I was happy. Now I couldn't tell you anything else about that day, but I do have that memory, like visually, I can see it in my head, looking down as he like kind of just barely opens the closet, and I see this blue box that says PS2 on it. And be like, holy crap, we got the PlayStation. Like, ladies and gentlemen, we got it. So we got the PS2. I couldn't tell you for the life of me what games we had when it first came out. I believe Tekken Tag Tournament was a launch title. I remember Tekken Tag being like one of the mainstays of my PS2 time, where it was like, hey, first off, love Tekken, is one of my favorite franchises, and then it's like Tekken, but two people, you can play two characters at one time. Like, that's insane. So that was a really crazy thing. Also, they should make a Tekken Tag 3 with the way Tekken is now. Who knows when you guys will see this, but it's been some updates that have had people upset lately for season 2. So maybe not like now, but as a whole, right now, they should totally we should have a Tekken Tag 3 at this point for sure. But anyway, had Tekken Tag Tournament, loved the crap out of that. Moving a little bit further down the line is the other Christmas memory. Now these are the only two actual memories I have when it comes specifically to the PS2. I have one for PlayStation 1, which I'll do when I eventually do that video. But for the PS2 specifically, I only have two Christmas memories. One was actually getting the PS2 on Christmas, and the other was getting Metal Gear Solid 2 for Christmas. And that was a really good day, because I love Metal Gear Solid. It was one of my favorite, it is one of my favorite franchises. And of course, played the crap out of MGS1. And then you see the trailer, MGS2 looks insane. Like, it's still just insane how good that game looks. That's like, the Resident Evil remake on GameCube, where it's like, you can look at that game right now on GameCube, like on the console it was on, and still just be like, that's crazy. Like, that's an insane looking video game. And the same goes for MGS2. So it's like, this game looks super cool. It's the second Metal Gear Solid game. Of course, didn't know anything about Raiden at the time, who's amazing now. But MGS2 comes out, and I remember we went shopping one time. This was before Christmas. We went shopping, and for whatever reason, my grandmother was with us this time. And I remember, you see the box art, because the game had already come out. You see the amazing MGS2 box art, is Snake in like the cool, I can't even say silhouette, because that doesn't make any sense. But, it's just Snake in the profile. That's the word I'm looking for. Is that the profile, he's got his gun. It's, that cool art that they use. And it's like, man, I want Metal Gear Solid 2. And I remember my grandmother saying, like, oh, maybe if you're good, Santa will drop it off for you for Christmas, or he'll get it for you. And I just remember thinking, like, I'm not stupid. Like, I knew, like, spoilers. Santa's not real. And I was just like, man, I don't care about this stupid crap. Like, I just want the game. Like, I don't care about this dumb Christmas crap. Like, Christmas means nothing. I don't care about fake Santa. I don't care about Christmas gifts. I just want this. I want this game. So I had to wait, of course, waited for Christmas, and then of course, I got it on Christmas, and it was absolutely amazing. And that was the Christmas memory that I have, where you get the new game, and you just sit and play it, and that's what they let me do, because we only had, like, I'm sure we probably had 2 TVs, maybe 3, like, it was maybe one upstairs, one in the living room, and I don't even know if we had one in the basement at that point, but we had one in the living room, and I just got to play. I hooked it up, put in Metal Gear Solid 2, and I was just sitting in my PJs. I was just in my pajamas, Christmas Day. Who knows? I'm sure I played for a couple of hours before, actually doing anything else that day. But those are like the actual 2 Christmas memories I have when it comes to the PS2, is actually getting the PS2 and then getting MGS2 for Christmas. I think everything else, when it comes to like the really big games that I got, I don't think I ever ended up getting any for Christmas. I think at that point, as I was getting a little bit older, which, it was only, I think MGS2, I think came out in 2003, so it was like the year after the PS2 came out. But it was like, okay, for the most part, I wasn't really getting games like during the Christmas season. I'm sure there's something that I did get during Christmas and I just don't remember it, but those are the 2 big Christmas memories. And then of course, there's just the games in general. The PS2 had a buttload of games, including obviously Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, naturally. Playing that for the first time was pretty intense. The God of War franchise, of course, started on the PS2, and having God of War was really good. God of War 2, and this is going to actually be included in like a bit of a unfortunate memory that comes later down the line, but God of War 2 is the one that I played the most. Like, I love that game. That was the game that kind of made me understand how much I really enjoyed the story of God of War, especially because I played that game like a million effing times. But I loved God of War 2. If they had, how we have them now where you can get trophies and stuff, and I'm sure it's on the collection, I would have had like the platinum trophy when it comes to like God of War 2 because of how many times I played that game. I did. I had all the costumes. I beat it on every difficulty. I beat like those super difficult challenge modes that they had and all that stuff. I beat every last thing that was in that game, and I played that game a million times over, and it was super fun. Tons of costumes to play around with, all that stuff. It was very exciting. So I loved that game. Had a great time with it. But I also had a moment, and I will never forget. I was so stuck in that game. It took me forever to figure. I actually think that was like the first time I actually like went and found out what the secret was to a puzzle, because I was so stuck. I could not figure out what to do. And I'm gonna explain where this is at, just so people, if you happen to remember the game, you'll know exactly where. So I'm playing this game. I'm loving the crap out of it. It's a great time. And I'm pretty sure it's when you first get to the island when Kratos is looking for the Sisters of Fate. And so there's this simple puzzle. It's like, all right, it's a platform. You got to put something on the platform so you can get through the door. Classic God of War puzzle, classic gaming puzzle. Find the thing to put on this so you can just walk through. As simple as that. Finding the thing is typically the difficult part. Normally, it's not that difficult. It's usually a block or something shiny or whatever. In God of War 2, the way that they designed it, it's a specific camera angle where it's showing you, hey, this dead body you can chop down, but it's in like the foreground of the screen. And so when I'm looking at it, it's just like art. I thought it was just like a camera angle where they just put something up close to the camera because it like looks dramatic, and there's like a couple of dead bodies. Most of them are skeletons though, so the one that you're supposed to chop down is like a fresher body, so it's, meat on the bones. I could not tell that for the life of me. Like I just never even looked at it because I'm like, what is this? Like I'm just looking at my character, of course. And I think when I finally figured out the answer, the body had like the tiniest little spark on it. But I'm telling you, I spent forever trying to figure out where to go in that game. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm missing. And it took me forever. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I did actually end up having to look up what the answer was because I could not find this thing. It took forever. So that is the puzzle that like nearly killed me when it came to God of War 2. And I will never forget that because that was one that just had me absolutely stomped. And the other puzzle that I was stomped on, I actually talked about in a different video, but it was for Resident Evil Code Veronica. And I'll let you guys go find that one. But suffice it to say, I stopped playing that game for like 6 months because I couldn't figure out the puzzle. And it turned out it was just limitations of the PlayStation 2 because I wasn't in the exact perfect spot to put down the exact perfect item. Like I knew exactly what I had to do, but I thought I was wrong because I wasn't in the right spot. So I'll let you guys, hear that story in whatever video that was. I think that I was just gaming memories or something. I don't remember what video that was, but that full story is in that. So in God of War, I did that. And eventually, obviously, once I beat it, had a great time. Love that game. It's one of my favorites. Resident Evil, Code Veronica I played, but also Resident Evil 4. Played it on the GameCube, rented it from Blockbuster, had a fantastic time with it. Probably beat it, I think, like 2 or 3 times when it initially came out. When it came out on PS2, it was time to own it. Because I rented it, and it was like, nope, we're going to own it this time. And also, it came with extra content. and that was amazing. So getting Resident Evil 4, which is already super fun on the GameCube, and then finally having it official, just it's mine. It's forever, it is mine. That was great. That's another one of my favorites. Of course, Resident Evil, favorite franchise as a whole. I do really enjoy RE4. It's not my favorite Resident Evil. I know a lot of people, obviously it literally changed gaming. Made a lot of people fans of Leon. Granted, he does a suplex in the game. Pretty cool, which I never found out until like my second, I guess technically it would, I can't remember if that was on GameCube that I figured that out or if that was on PlayStation. I think it was on GameCube. I think it was like my second time playing that game. And I just randomly kicked a door by accident. I was just kind of, mashing the buttons. I knew the enemies were behind the door, and I just did like a spin kick to like kick the door open to try to stun them, which I did. And then because I was still hitting the button, I had the option to do a suplex. I'd never seen that pop up. I didn't even know what was happening. Like he hit it and he just suplexed the dude, and I was like, whoa, I've never seen this before. That was insane. Like, that was like my second time playing through the game. So that shocked me for sure. I think that was on GameCube, but still. PS2, good times. Play the crap out of that. Extra costumes were put in. The Assignment Ada stuff was there. They added the PRL 412 laser cannon, which they did not put in the remake. I was annoyed by that. Also, took me forever to get the laser cannon. I didn't get the laser cannon until like the Wii version of the game came out. And I'd been practicing, you play it when you play it. And so I was playing it. And my cousin ended up unlocking it on the Wii, right before I ended up getting it on my PlayStation version. So when I finally got it, I was like, oh man, I finally, I got the cannon. And then my younger cousin, like his younger brother, he saw me unlock it and use it, and he was like, oh, it's better on the Wii. And I was like, what? Like this is when I was younger. Like now I could probably do it easier. But at the time, that was a real challenge for me. And I was like, it took forever, and I finally unlocked the laser cannon. He's like, oh yeah, it's better on the Wii. And I was like, what do you mean? So I charge up this laser cannon. It's cool, shoots off a laser beam, kills whatever in one hit. I was like, oh, that's nice. And then I see the Wii version. It charges up in half the time, and it shoots a laser at literally everything on the screen. It's not one little laser. It's unlimited laser. However many enemies are on the screen, they don't even have to really be in front of you. You can do this in the village portion with the updated laser cannon. It will literally kill every single enemy that is spawned on the map and will instantaneously trigger the cutscene because you killed everything on the map in one go. And I was like, I spent all this time, 5 stars, 5 levels, 5 characters. Actually, it's 4 levels. But I spent all this time. I finally get the laser cannon, and I'm instantaneously disappointed because it's better on the Wii. Which, granted, the whole game is better on the Wii. Like that's the best way to play that game. And I regret to this day that I did not get the chance to buy all of the Wii games when they were closing down the Wii shop. I was on there, and I don't remember what happened, but something was like messing up or stopping me, and I never ended up buying the games before the Wii shop closed down. And I wanted that so bad. I was like, I'm gonna buy like both the Umbrella Chronicles, Dark Side Chronicles, and I'm gonna buy RE4, and I couldn't do it. Like something went wrong, and it would not let me get the games. And I was like, dang. And they were like $2. It's really sad. Like I really wish I was able to get that, but unfortunately that was not the case. But I had a great time with RE4 on the PS2. Great time with Metal Gear Solid 2. We had Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2, which is really good. They need to bring that back. They need to put that out on something where you can buy both those games together. And that is also what leads into one of the unfortunate memories. I did the GameStop thing. I sold some games. One of them was Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2. My dad was upset about that one. That was one of the games that he really enjoyed. But it's not like he was really playing that much, but it was, it's just one of those things where you're just like, oh man, like I forgot about that thing forever. And then when I find out about it, it's gone. It's like, that sucks. So it was kind of that situation where he was like, oh man, that was like the one game that he really, in some way at least, like kind of still enjoyed, like that. And like, it was fighting games were his thing. So the boxing and Tekken. But Ready Rumble Boxing Round 2, I had Enter the Matrix. That was in the pile. I sold that. And there were a couple other games. I genuinely don't even remember any of the other games. I only remember Ready Rumble Boxing because it bothered my dad, and Enter the Matrix. And that's because the games that I sold to buy the Matrix Path of Neo video game. So I remember being like, oh, I'm selling Enter the Matrix to get, Path of Neo. And yeah, I regret selling those games. Like I said, I literally only remember 2, but I only regret them mostly due to the fact that it's the classic thing. Like you sell like 4 or 5 games to get 1 game. I'm sure we've all done it. We've done things where it's like we've either sold games to do the GameStop thing, we've sold off old games or even old toys, whatever, and you're just like, crap, I wish I never got rid of that. And then, you end up going back and buying stuff later down the line. So the reason that didn't end up mattering, even though I did enjoy The Matrix Path of Neo, I do wish that game would also be re-released because that's actually a fun game, pretty crazy. But sold those games, did all that, got Matrix Path of Neo, had a great time with it, really fun game. Also, Enter the Matrix was a weird, interesting thing. Like, that was the first time I think I ever played anything where they were doing like the media type situation where it's like, hey, obviously, you got the Matrix, you got Matrix Reloaded. Here's Enter the Matrix, where you play as Niobe and Ghost, and it's canon to the actual films. Like, you do stuff that they explain in the movies, and you go on these actual missions and like play parts of things that show up in the movie, and it's actually super cool. And they even have stuff that's like not even deleted scenes, it's like whole side stories. Like, did any of you that have seen The Matrix know that Trinity had a brother? Because that's Ghost. So if you've seen Ghost in the Matrix movies, which is like Niobe's buddy, that's Trinity's brother. That's like her, I think they're both adopted or something. I don't think they're like half siblings. I think they're like straight up adopted siblings, but they're siblings. It's like crazy. It's like, holy crap. So there's all sorts of stuff in that game, which I thought was cool. But eventually, sold that off, sold the games off, got Matrix, Path of Neo. Fun time, all that good stuff. Then one day, the ultimate tragedy occurred. My games were stolen. House was broken into, and the PS2, fortunately, and I'll say this, I still have my PlayStation 2. I still have a couple of PS2 games, because at the time, and boy, oh boy, this is one of those hilarious things where you can be like, whew, thank goodness my parents split up, huh? I have my PS2 at my mom's house. Some of the games were safe, and at the time, I had Guitar Hero 2, Guitar Hero 3. I don't think 3 was even out, but I had Guitar Hero 2. We'll say I had Guitar Hero 3. God of War 2 was over there. Resident Evil 4 was over there, thank God. And Flat Out 2 was over there. And Flat Out is a funny one because I had the demo for Flat Out 1 and I played that for hours upon hours. And I thought it was so funny that every time you crashed, the character flew out the window. That's like the whole gimmick. I finally bought the second game and I flew out of the window literally one time. I have one memory of ever flying out of the window and I was going at like hyper speed. And I was like, wow, I actually flew out the window. That was like the whole reason I kind of wanted this game. Fortunately, it's just arcadey enough that I still enjoy that game. Had some decent music, plus it had all the like fun mini games and stuff. But that was a tragic day. That was a tragic day. I lost most of my PS2 games, and of all things, there's one more game that made it. And this was actually at my dad's when my games were stolen. I don't know how, but it's the most perfect story ever. The only game that made it was Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake was just there on the ground, camouflaged right into the floor, and he was there. And so I still have my Metal Gear Solid 3. And those are the games I have. MGS 3, God of War 2, RE4, Flat Out 2, Guitar Hero 2 and 3. That's all I have left now. I no longer have my Kingdom Hearts. No more Kingdom Hearts 2, which that's another great memory. Oh my God. When I first got Kingdom Hearts 2, and this, let's go back to the fun stuff. When I had Kingdom Hearts 2 for the first time, I played that game for like 2 hours and I didn't even play the game because I liked the opening music so much, I never played the game for like 2 straight hours. I just reset the game over and over again just to listen to the intro music. That's what I did for like 2 straight hours. When Kingdom Hearts 2 first came out, I literally didn't play the game the first night I had it. I just listened to the opening over and over and over again because I was like, this song is so effing good. And that's how I spent my first night playing Kingdom Hearts 2. I literally didn't even get to play the game. I just over and over the intro. And then when I finally played the game, I was like, whew, you gotta do a lot in this effing prologue. Like, this junk sucks. Like, I hate that effing prologue. But that opening song, 2 straight hours. And then I was like, it's time to go to sleep. And I was like, oh crap. I've been listening to this song for like 2 hours. This intro for like 2 effing hours. The song is really good though. The song is great. The song's fantastic. At the time the visuals were like brand new and it was like, this is super cool. And it's explaining, because I had no idea what Chain of Memories was at the time, but it was going through and it was like giving you, like a full recap of the game, even though there's no dialogue, you don't know what the F is going on. I'm just looking at crap. I'm like, I don't know what any of this means, but I'm like, okay, cool. They went through a door and they went up some stairs and then this girl like wrote some notes and stuff. I don't know who this is. They don't say her name in the game. Like, none of that. It was just like, technically it's a recap of a game that was on the Game Boy Advance, but it was a confusing recap. And then it's just like, he sleep, they all sleep now, and here's another dude with hair. I was like, okay, but this music is amazing. So 2 straight hours of that. And then, yeah, that's how I was introduced to Kingdom Hearts 2, is that amazing opening that I listened to for 2 effing hours. And then one day, I of course played the game, and I absolutely love that game. Fantastic. Took me forever, but one day I did beat Sephiroth. It was a good time. Never beat him in the first game. In the Coliseum, I couldn't effing do it. But in 2, I was able to take him down. It took me a minute, and I couldn't do what they said on G4. It was like, you can just do this and like spam your mana, and like your healing, you can just put on here and just keep pressing circle, and you can just instantly heal. And I was like, sweet. Spent all my money, saved up, went and did that. That junk did not work. I got to use it like 3 times. And I was like, bro, in cheat, they said you can just press circle. I just set it to this, and then I should just be able to keep healing. I couldn't keep healing. I don't know what the deal was, but I beat him. And I got Fenrir. And I love that sword. I love the design of the sword. I don't love the, like the, whatever powers it had, I don't like it as much, but I always loved the design of that sword. I always thought that looked so cool. My favorite, of course, is Oblivion. I'm a sucker for like just a black blade. It's not the best one in the game, but I always use it because I'm like, man, I gotta use Oblivion. Like, it looks sick. Like, it looks so cool. It was Oblivion and Morningstar were like the polar opposites of each other. And it was like, I hate having to use them. And it was like, man, if they ever, who knows when 4 comes out, and I don't know if they did this in 3, but I was like, man, if they did like a transmog thing, that would be great. Where you could just pick the different keyblades and be like, well, I like the look of this keyblade, but I like this power. That would be nice. That'd be really sweet. I don't know if they ever did that, but I was like, man, I like the look of Oblivion, but it didn't have like the best stats ever. So you just had to go, you had to go what you had to go with to survive. But something worth noting when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 2. But sadly, I don't have either of those games. Sadly, no more Bloody Roar 3, Hyper Beast Battle Mode. Man, I played the crap out of some Bloody Roar 3. I think of that game all the time. I still have, this is the craziest thing in the world. To this day, I still remember, like, they have like the little battle theme, like, when you pick your characters and stuff and it's like loading into the music. I still remember what that sounds like, and I still do it to this day, because it's like, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I still remember that sound, because that's how much I played Bloody Roar 3. Like, I love Bloody Roar. Also another franchise that really needs to make a comeback. Like, it's a fighting game where you turn into animals. Like, it doesn't make sense how that, like, I don't get how that franchise just isn't back. I just don't understand. I don't think Hudson Soft is around anymore, but like, somebody needs to pick up the rights to some Bloody Roar. Like, it's ridiculous. It's a fighting game where you can fight as a human, and then you can do a battle transformation and you turn into an animal. It's insane. Also, one of my first like early gaming crushes, like the final boss in Bloody Roar 3, insanely hot. Like, she's insanely hot, and I think her name was like almost Uranus, which is hilarious. At the time it was hilarious. It's still funny now, but super hot, insanely hot. There's also a dude in there called like Zion. He was super cool, and I always thought he kind of looked like Dante because he had a red jacket and white hair, and I was like, he reminds me of Dante a lot. But he turned into like this crazy bug creature that was silver. Super awesome. And the woman turned into like a wildebeest. Like, it was like, she turned into like the craziest monster ever, and it was like, let's just make her like a hot woman. And it's like, thank you for that. But alas, no more Bloody Roar 3. No more Hunter the Reckoning Wayward. Fantastic franchise, needs to come back. All the others, no offense to all the other games I can't remember I had. I had a decent chunk of games, but MGS2 is gone. You know what? It was on PlayStation. The Warriors, that's where I had my Warriors game. That was on PlayStation for me. So sadly, that's gone too. Man, a lot of unfortunate things were lost. But I still got some of the greatest ones. I got my MGS3, got my RE4, and God of War 2. Those 3 are some of like the staples when it comes to the PlayStation 2. So I'm happy to have those. And technically, so is Guitar Hero. That changed the world when that first came out. But it sucks to not have my games. I definitely miss, just honestly, I've thought about it for years. I was like, man, I wish I had them more now, just because I would love to do like YouTube videos being like, hey, let's just look at old video game cases, like, and just go through, because I had a bunch of games. There would be a bunch to look at. And it's like, man, that's what I miss the most, to just be able to, I had The Mummy. I had The Mummy Returns on PlayStation 2. Really good game if you played The Mummy. Playing as Rick was kind of tough, but playing as The Mummy was sick. Like, you could like reincarnate the mummies inside of the museum. Like, you go through the museum of like the beginning of the movie, and you could just like break open the cases and just like reincarnate the mummies and like create them as your army. Like, it was kind of easy when you played as the Mummy, and it was like a regular shooter when you played as Rick. And it was like, I played the Mummy first, and it was like, this is awesome. And then you play as Rick, and it's like, I'm sorry, dude. It kind of blows playing as you. Like, you shoot stuff. Like, the mummy can pick up sickles and start stabbing people, and I'm summoning other mummy, like reincarnating people. Like, I'm like come to life inside a museum and they break out the glass. It was amazing. It was super fun playing as the mummy. It was really, really cool. But I remember having that. I forgot about that. The mummy. Oh my goodness. Jet Li's Rise to Honor. I know you don't even know what that is, but I'm gonna just end it there. That's where I'm gonna end things. So I'm gonna start remembering games that I've lost to time, and it's gonna make me upset. I love my PlayStation 2. I love my couple of games that still remain. I still have them. I still have, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I still have my booklet for Tekken Tag Tournament. I don't know why it wasn't in the case, but I still have that. So that's one of the little things I'm like, I still got my book for Tekken Tag Tournament. But I want to know your memories with the PlayStation 2. It is a console that sold like gangbusters. It was a DVD player and a video game console, which is why it sold so well. But nonetheless, sold like gangbusters, gave us tons of great things, introduced us to, well, technically I'd say the Dreamcast really introduced us to like online play. If you're in Japan, the NES introduced you to online play. Like, I think the Super Nintendo had like online stuff in Japan. It's crazy. There's so many things that we have in gaming now, Nintendo was doing a long time ago. Like, you'd be amazed if you really look into the stuff Nintendo did. I know they're not in the greatest favor right now, but they, aside from being like, we're gonna innovate with these $80 FM prices, for a long time, they've been doing some stuff where it's like, it's commonplace now. Nintendo was doing it like 30 years ago. I'm telling you guys, just look into some Nintendo stuff. Maybe you'll have fun. You can look into Nintendo history and be like, wow, that's cool. And you don't have to think about anything happening right now. But that's where I'm gonna end this PlayStation episode. Don't know how we got to Nintendo, but it just happens. It's happening right now. We'd love to know your thoughts, memories, all the good stuff, even the bad stuff. I'm sure some other people have sadly lost games in different ways. We'd love to know your memories when it comes to the PlayStation 2, the highest selling console of all time. And once again, if the Switch tries to step on that, they'll find another 20 million units. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.